In fact, let's bring on board Naveen Kulkarni, Head of Research at Reliance Securities, to chat a little bit more about the outlook for the markets and individual stocks. And Naveen, I'm just going to ask you first up a straight outlook on what the expectation is from Eicher Motors. You know, we're expecting the margins to contract, the launch costs increase, input costs could hurt the numbers. Is there anything that you're factoring in?
So this is a stock that we currently do not have under our coverage, but overall from the automobile space we are not positive on the two-wheeler category as a whole. We are slightly more positive or optimistic on the four-wheeler category, but we see a lot of challenges with regards to inventory movement, channel inventory. Second is competitive intensity continuing to rise, right? Demand also not being that great, right? So there are much more challenges on the two-wheeler side than the four-wheeler side, I would say. So not very optimistic at this juncture on the auto space, especially on the two-wheelers.
Okay. Would that be the similar view when it comes to passenger vehicles as well? Because across category one has seen pressure, be it Tata Motors because of JLR, but even a domestic market leader like Maruti has been hurting on volumes.
Yeah, so again, I would say that slightly better, Maruti is placed slightly better because the channel inventory is not so high, so the channel inventory has declined. But again, there is pressure clearly evident, right, both on the margin front as well as on the demand scenario, right? So it will take a while, I believe, when the base becomes a little more favorable for the auto companies. That's when optically the growth will start improving. But the real growth rate also has to improve. Probably that might take around 3 to 6 months kind of a time frame. So we'll be a little bit in a wait and watch mode for even the four-wheeler passenger vehicle. CV again, we are quite negative on the CV plays. So I would say that passenger vehicles, Maruti is slightly better placed, but even then we will be in a wait and watch mode.
Naveen, let's talk about the overall liquidity setup then. While we had seen quite a bit of support coming in from the DIIs, FIIs have definitely been steering clear for quite a while from the Indian markets. Do you think that with the big election event around the corner, that kind of a position is likely to continue for the foreign investors?
Yeah, it seems more likely the foreign institutional investors may not invest so much, but again, it is very difficult to gauge when foreign institutional investors would start looking into the Indian market as a whole, right? So, see, the global liquidity situation has been tightening for a while, and now I would believe that this year might be a year of little bit of respite, but it remains to be seen when that scenario actually changes. To be specific on the India front, I would believe that foreign institutional investors might stay away, but it will depend on what the news flow will be on the political front, right? Which let's say in a couple of months we might start getting some I would say that opinion polls coming through, where if the political scenario emerges to be a little more constructive, then we might start seeing some bit of flows coming through, right? So it's going to be a tricky situation because the news flow might continue to remain I would say that volatile. So from that perspective, we would believe that for now the foreign institutional investors might stay away for a bit, but the time of entry will still be uncertain, is what I would believe at this point in time.
Okay. Fair enough. Let's understand the outlook as well on sectors that you're bullish on. What is the earnings growth that you're expecting from IT? Which are the stocks that you like within this space?
See, IT again has been our favored sector for a while now. So both the large caps as well as mid caps we like. So from an earnings perspective, we are looking at a 12 to 14% kind of an earnings growth coming through for next year. The stocks that we like in the large cap space are TCS and Infosys. Infosys has been our top pick in the large cap IT space. The stock has done quite well now, so that continues to be one of our I would say that bullish picks. In the mid cap space, we like Sonata Software. The results that the company reported last week were pretty decent. The earnings growth has been good, so we are looking at an 18% kind of an CAGR for the next 2 years. So the earnings growth is likely to remain pretty stable and good for Sonata. So that's the stock that we like in the mid cap space for IT.
Okay. Across the mid-cap category, anything else that you're liking aside of the stocks that you just talked about?
See, in general, I would say that the IT mid-cap space looks attractive. The only challenge with the mid-cap IT space is that the earnings can be a little bit of volatile. There might be some quarters where there might be misses, but I believe that what we are seeing right now is that there is some bit of gradual, I would say that improvement in terms of the trend in the earnings for the mid-cap stocks also, right? So so Sonata Software, as I mentioned, is the top pick in the mid-cap space. But apart from Sonata also, if I were to look at some of the other names, I would say that probably something like Cyient might do better in the forthcoming quarters. We like Majesco also, right? So overall, the mid-cap space looks quite interesting to us at this point in time, and earnings growth is more likely to pick up in the mid-cap space from here on.
Okay, I believe that within the private banking space, you like some of, the corporate retail lenders. What is it that's catching your eye?
So banking as a space has been one of our favored, I would say that allocation areas. So I have been talking about Axis and ICICI for a fairly long period, right? And Axis has done pretty well on the last couple of months with the kind of earnings that they have been able to report. We even continue to like ICICI Bank at current levels. I believe the stock is quite reasonably valued. There is a lot of room for the stock to re-rate even from the current levels. The overall operating performance has been pretty good. So ICICI Bank is another name that we like in the private banking space. Among the mid-cap names, what we like is DCB. So that's another stock that we like in the mid-cap space from the banking sector.
Okay, Naveen, great to have you on the show and discuss all those stocks and ideas. Just slight bit of recovery from the